In the top right part of the map here on Habitation Station, it is our green Protoss player, Swanky's Oxygen. In the top left part of the map, formerly in the top left part of the map, it is our purple Terran player, pulling off everybody's favorite tactic with an incredibly low win rate. Lift off and build your base somewhere else. At the beginning of the game, player Day 9 Ladder Clans Fade playing the Terran. All right, guys. I'll be honest with you here. I've seen this work once, and it was one of those people. I happen to be like 50% of my sample size. And that guy is very good at this game. Case has made it to Masters League in Korea, and he's managed to make it work once. Every other person I've ever seen try this doesn't go so great. However, the reaction from Oxy should be incredibly interesting. I am, in fact, actually just going to switch over to the Oxy cam right now. We're going to watch his viewpoint as his scout makes it up into the base. He checks there, and he immediately checks. He just immediately takes the probe and sends it to the gold. He knows that something's up, and he's going to check there right away. No freaking out with his camera. No looking around the base. No wasting any time. He knows immediately what's up, and there he is. Fade is notorious for being a very cheesy player, and when I say that, I mean kind of in random ways. Like, this is one of them. This is actually a type of what we would call macro cheese, as you are hoping your opponent kind of doesn't notice really quickly, because there are some pretty solid ways to do a lot of damage to this. One of them, for example, is you can pick up the watchtower here, gives you vision at just this edge. You can walk some stalkers up to here along with the mothership core and basically just attack his mineral line. You can't do anything about it. Don't forget to pull SCVs. Fade gives him a smiley face back. But as I was saying, Fade loves to play these early aggressive styles. The best version of this I have ever seen executed basically involved not only a lot of Marines that you get from pulling in the extra minerals, but also involved grabbing a factory for a couple of Widow Mines to back up the attack, because often players don't really have that, especially if they go for just a 4-gate response. But we'll have to see from here. Pretty much both players are not going to expand. This is going to be decided more or less well before that point. And this allows Fade, if he spends his money really well, to get a lot of Marines very, very, very quickly. There's a lot of bad things that can happen to a player while they're attempting this, though. They can get supply blocked really easily. They could build not enough barracks. They could get attacked by something that they can't really kill, which pretty much would probably just be a cannon rush, but I imagine you actually could probably cannon contain a player doing this pretty easily down this region down here. They're not going to have gas for a while. Important thing to note about this that you're going to be thinking of here, you're going to be looking at this command center and thinking, why is there no orbital command? Well, actually, mules just count as SCVs on gold patches. They don't do anything different, so some players will actually just save the money and go for a faster barracks. But no, this is not a 4 Rex. When you go on a gold base, it's a 5 Rex. 5 to 6. Even then, you'll be barely spending your money probably well enough. Here comes the Marines. Going to move out to the middle of the map here. Is going to have 8 Marines, 9 Marines total. Oxygen back at his base now has a sentry. He needs to be able to get up to 3 sentries to be able to eternally force field this spot. And even then, he probably wants about 4 to give him a little flexibility there. If he goes down this route, he's going to want to build up into some better tech like Colossus or DTs. Anything that can help him out here. 1 force field's only going to buy him time. Does not have a mothership core. He's going to boosting out stalkers. He may have enough to be able to deal with this in time. And here comes 1 Marine's going to check up here, and this force field is... Ooh, is Oxy actually looking to pick off a couple Marines here? Loses his shield on one of the stalkers. And unfortunately, not a good force field. Actually just creates a little bit of a choke point there. So, Fade will be able to push up into that if he wants. He doesn't, though. I think another force field is almost ready. Sentry is actually getting dangerously close to the Marines there. And he's just kind of coming down, chopping off some of the Marines as they appear. So far, not really losing much. And I think if he gets these 3 stalkers out, he's going to have enough firepower to probably hold this. Does have a force field available. And so far, though, you can even see back in his base, despite having 5 barracks, he's pretty much starting to build up pretty high. No, he's actually spending his money really well. Looks like Fade's really familiar with macro involved here. 5 Stalkers can now basically one-shot a Marine. You can't do much more than that bunker coming down up here. This is going to make breaking this a lot harder. But it looks like Oxygen's now interested to... No, he wanted to run it over, but he didn't do it. Does he have a Guardian Shield up? Yeah, he can make a Guardian Shield. He's going to do it. This is going to help out a lot with this. It gives all units +2 armor against range. And you can see the Marines are just not really that effective at all once Guardian Shield is in place. Unfortunately, though, there's just not enough gear really for the Protoss player. And unfortunately, he doesn't have a force field to go along with this now. So he's significantly hampered in this next engagement. 2 Zealots actually fighting within melee range here, doing a decent job of this. Okay, starter stepping from Fade allows his Marines to survive for quite a while here. May need to pull some probes. Here come the probes. There's only 4 Marines actually left, though, and the force has been more or less cleaned up. 3 more Marines, 4 more Marines in the low ground. Going to be able to use that bunker to stay alive. But all in all, both players kind of trading equally there. Fade's now trying to go up to an expansion of his own so he can grab some additional minerals and gas. See, he is spending this well, but he does need to tech out of this eventually. Now grabbing the orbital command. We'll be able to use that to call down mules. Basically just counts as extra SCVs, but still. And with that bunker now in place, he needs a little bit more of an army to actually be able to break through that. There's only 1 SCV on the repair, so it shouldn't take him too long to break through it. But pretty much, yeah, Oxygen is just going down the 4-gate route here, and this is starting to turn into a kind of scary situation. He's a little bit all in against this. And his opponent may be able to extend up into a stronger economy if he can continue to hold this area. Anyway, though, here comes 4 Zealots and 4 Stalkers. That's quite a bit of DPS, and he will be able to kill this bunker even with the 1 SCV for repairing. Unfortunately, that's a lot of Marines, so basically sacrificing 4 Zealots for a single bunker there and a couple Marines. Not really all that great, but he does need to break through this position soon. If he's able to get through this, Fade's in a lot of trouble, because his Marine reinforcements will never really amass to the size that he probably needs it to. Fade walking forward instead of stepping instead of utilizing the bunker. A little bit of a dangerous move, and he's going to lose a lot more than he would otherwise as a result. Goes up, comes down. Here comes some more Stalkers for the attack. Has the bunker in play, giving a little bit of extra range to this. Again, losing Marines and pretty much fighting on the terms that Oxy would want in a lot of these fights. Still, I give the advantage to our Terran player. I think that time is on his side in this. If he can keep the Protoss locked up here, and especially since Oxygen has not picked any other tech routes. He's not throwing up a Robo to break down the bunker. He's not, or to try and push up into a Colossus. Colossus would actually work okay against this. His opponent would not have very much other tech. And now he has so many Stalkers, he's actually able to do a decent job here. Unfortunately, not microing them at all, and they're dying pretty quickly. Does kill a second bunker. He's going to back up, pick up a few more reinforcements, and then we'll probably see him head straight back down. Combat Shield is actually just about to finish here, and if that does finish, these Marines get quite a bit more beefy. They basically can take an extra 2 shots from these Stalkers, which is quite a bit more than you'd expect. But now 5 Marines at a time coming out. Fade's still spending his money pretty well, putting up 2 bunkers back home. It's already got this extra base pretty well saturated. Unfortunately, as you can see, one of the side effects of a gold base is that it mines out very, very, very fast. And it's pretty much just gives you about the same resources as a normal base. So as Oxy mines this out, he's pretty much in the same position as far as gas is concerned. I mean, as far as minerals is concerned, but he's ahead as far as gas goes, just because Fade never actually took the second gas. He's going to be a little bit behind on minerals, which again helps Fade just keep this 5 Marine production up. But that's only so good for so long. You do eventually get to a point where, yeah, now starting to happen, Oxy's starting to tech up, where if he can get a couple Colossus out in the field, this big Marine ball isn't really worth all that much. Basically, if you ever see somebody on the ladder as a Protoss player going real hard mass Marines, if you have the ability to do so, if you can hold him off, if you can keep him at bay, and he's not doing anything else, especially if these are unupgraded Marines, you can get to about 3 to 4 Colossus, and even if he tries to focus them down, pretty much his entire army will get vaporized. It is incredibly, incredibly strong against them. Best case scenario, too, is if you can get him to waste a couple stims before that. Not really an option for Fade at the moment. Still no stim. It's about halfway done with that. We'll be up in a little bit. pretty much in another minute and 30 seconds or so. An observer being chrono boosted out. And yeah, him lifting and mining out the other gold, as ZRQ says, would have been actually a fairly interesting play. But that doesn't seem to be on his choice of actions at the moment. It's getting another gateway. Both players spending their resources very, very well here, but Fade, obviously, a little bit better in that department. Unfortunately, quite a bit supply blocked at the moment here. Just has a bunch of barracks finishing. He's getting a couple medevacs now to help augment this. But unfortunately has not noticed the supply block just yet. And this is actually going to give Oxygen some chance to catch up in supply here. And he's getting that Robo Bay. So as long as this army isn't continuing to get bigger, this actually works out in his favor quite a bit. It looks like Fade is considering maybe a drop play here, which would actually be very, very effective. Unfortunately, he's flying straight at the pathway of that observer, which is going to pick up on the movement of the army. Hopefully, Oxygen actually saw that. He does have a photon overcharge available in this mothership core, which is going to keep this entire army held at bay, pretty much. He can even use this to defend the main if necessary. Unfortunately, that's such a large space that I don't think he could actually defend the buildings at the side, but Fade doesn't look interested in actually attacking the side. He's pulled a bunch of SCVs, now he's going for the attack. Photon Overcharge goes down. He's trying to do what damage he can to the army. Trying to focus it down. No Guardian Shield, unfortunately, means that these units from Oxy are actually just dying very, very quickly here. Mothership Core does fall, so it won't be able to build up to another Overcharge anytime soon. That's just too much damage. GG.